Today, I'm going to kind of reiterate Alex Michael's speech on 10 ways on not to get injured. But mine's going to be just a little bit different. It's going to be about what you're going to do after you're injured. What is that key question? What do you do when you are injured? Which leads me to my story on what happened to me last Saturday. It was a beautiful day. I went outside to get on my bike. I was scheduled to do a 3 to 4 hour bike ride because I'm training for my half Ironman. So 30 minutes into my ride on Mountain View corridor over there, I bump into Jim Bramble and Sean Quigley. They're both doing the Oceanside race as well. So I get over there and I was supposed to keep it an easy ride. Instead, I wanted to keep it competitive, and I kind of from competitive nature, I had to pass them and leave them in the dust, which I kind of did. And I also used my side bars, which I never usually do, which I leaned down more. And when I got home, I could not walk. I had to lay flat on the ground like this all day, just like this, and without feeling any pain on my butt. So, which leads me to my torture devices, which aren't really much of a torture devices. They're usually my recovery devices. Past few days at work, all I've been pretty much doing is laying on my stomach like this, and trying to work and take my phone calls like this and lean everything down, because this takes a lot of pressure off my back, and I don't feel any pain. Sitting in a chair like that is no fun. No fun whatsoever. Then I have my foam roller, which is also a recovery tool that I use after my long runs, long bike rides, and I can also use it when rolling on my back, so it's a really great tool. K-tape helps with all sorts of stuff, just depending on the type of injuries that you have. My bag that I put my ice packet in, you can use it for your ankle or just put it wherever you need it. And Epsom salt baths are wondrous. I could stay in my bathroom for hours, but my wife doesn't like that, so we'll leave that alone. And then, besides my ice packs, I have my heating pad. All you have to do is flick a little button in this, and it will turn directly into heat, which is pretty nice. Only bad thing about it is you have to boil it back, get back to normal. And this is one of my favorite things. I usually use a tennis ball, but I use my dog's Kong ball. It's a lot harder, and it can get deeper into the muscles. So I can roll on it like this, and it'll relieve my pain. So that's one of the many things of my devices that I use. But what do you do if your pain is so bad? You, of course, have to go see someone. I'm going to tell you a story of my friend Dave Earnshaw. He's a runner like me. I've been telling him for a little bit that he needs to incorporate some more cross training, because all he's been doing is running. And trying to get him to do more cross training. But then he hurt his shin. And he went to his family doctor, which they just told him, oh, stay off it for a few weeks. Then he went to Tosh, and then they basically told him the same thing. And I keep telling him, come swim with me, come bike with me while you recover. So there's other things you can do instead of one single sport. Another thing that I've been incorporating is rice. Everybody in here familiar with rice? Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Very key if you want to be at home and you know all this stuff and you don't want to save doctor bills and you know it's not going to be bad. This is the best thing you can do. And just to reiterate everything that I've talked about, it's key. Just take a moment and relax. Your race may not be over if you get injured, if you just take it easy. I've done the blunt of my training, so I'm not concerned. I have to wait 2 or 3 weeks before my race, so I'm just going to take it easy the rest of the way. I might go on a swim next Saturday to see how my back muscles are, but I'll stay away from my bike for a little bit because that's going to be the hardest part of my race, because that's where I hurt. Poor tush. But again, when you're injured and your body's telling you something, slow down. Thank you, everybody.